afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology here. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. And I am, that's right now at this moment, as we are talking, I am at my 48-hour window. We started fasting 2 days ago, so Tuesday afternoon, and then here we are into Thursday. And for those of you who are out there who joined us, and this is the end of your 24-hour period of fasting, congratulations to you. Kudos to you. I am excited for you and the decision that you've made to be intentional, right, about your health and making those changes and taking charge of this aspect of your health. One of the things that I've seen recently is a lot of people talking about fasting and talking about eating. As a matter of fact, there was a guy that I saw on social media, and he said, you know, if you want to live longer, eat less. was the premise of what he was saying. And the whole idea there was that the things that we eat have such a profound impact on our health and on our metabolism that we can actually use food in a way that helps to improve our bodies and improve our metabolism. And so here in this space, we are using that idea that food can be medicine, and lack of food actually can be medicine. And so that's what we're doing right now. So if you have joined us and this is the end of your 24-hour period, congratulations, kudos to you. If you joined us on Tuesday and yesterday was your end of your 24-hour period, once again, hats off to you. And if you are starting right now, if you're starting today, this is going into your 24 hours. Kudos and congratulations to you. I'm glad that you are with us. I'm glad that you are hanging out with us in this space as we go through the process. I am, like I said, 48 hours into this week's fast. As we move into our 72-hour fast, we've got one more day, another 24 hours to go, and then that'll be it. Right, that'll be it for this week. For those of you who are joining us here on the channel for the first time, or someone's told you to come through, you're just finding us. Once a week we do a fast, and this is a calorie fast. So we're not taking in anything that has calories as we try to improve our metabolism and get ourselves in a healthy, put ourselves in a healthy direction. If you're new to the channel, one of the things that you will see is on the main channel page. When you go to Dwain Woode MD, you'll see two playlists there. One is titled, it starts with Start Here, right? Start Here. That's what it says. And this is if you are interested in finding out how to improve your metabolism, reversing your diabetes, how to get yourself in the direction of better health. That is where you start. That playlist has the videos that we have selected and curated to say, if someone walks through this process, they get an idea and they begin to be able to apply the things that we are doing to improve their health. That's the first playlist you'll see. The second playlist that you will see there, it says videos from this week, or this week's videos is how it starts. There's some other words at the end of it, but it says this week's videos. And if you are here and you're saying, hey, they've got a lot of things going on, but what are they doing right now? What's going on this week? How do I catch up with the things that are going on? That's the playlist that you want to go into and walk through. And just over the course of this week, I have been just promoting that and saying to people, if you go to the channel, that's where you want to be. Here in the office all morning, I've been saying that. My team is saying that. And you, when you're pointing people to the channel, I want you to begin saying that and explaining that process again. So those two playlists you'll see there, one is Start Here, and the other one is this week's videos. Okay, you may see another one show up, but that's where we are right now. So I see Cornelia. What's up, Cornelia? Cornelia's out there. Just want to, she says, hello, Dr. Woode with an E. Cornelia, I got your message in the community, and I was so excited I've been sharing your story this morning with our team, and they are so excited for you, and lots of good things that are going on. So thank you for sharing that with us. And so for those of you who are in the community, that's the beauty of being in community, that you get to hear and experience the benefits that a lot of people are having as they move through this space. And Cornelia, we may do a shout out for you this evening, but make sure you come on. Okay. So for everyone, thank you for being here. What are we doing? What's the process that we're going through? Why are we here? And we are here because we are taking intentional steps to improve our health. We're taking intentional steps to improve our metabolism. We're taking intentional steps to make changes in our lives that are setting us up for the best possibility of success as it relates to our health. That's what we do. You hear me say when I come on the show, when I do this show, you hear me say I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes, who want to get off medication, who want to improve their metabolism. And that is true, but it also goes for everyone who is along the metabolic space. So those people who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, at risk for coronary artery disease, who are at risk for strokes and peripheral artery disease, who have polycystic ovarian syndrome, obesity, metabolic syndrome, pre-diabetes, and of course the ultimate is diabetes, even people who are predisposed to some cancers. All of this is a part of the process. So when you hear me say adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes, improve their health, I want you to stick your name in there, and I want you to stick your disease process in there if it's one of those diseases along the spectrum. Now, here's the thing, and this is one that, and yesterday I started talking about some of the complications, right? And the reason why we're doing what we're doing. One of the things to understand is, just like I was telling a patient today in the office, diabetes makes other things worse. Diabetes may not have caused it. For example, you walk down the stairs and you trip and you break a leg, or you get a cut, you get a scrape, you get a scratch. Diabetes didn't cause that, but the process of healing for that problem takes longer. And so you get a cut on your foot, you get a scratch on your foot, and all of a sudden you look down and there's an ulcer there. And people say, well, my diabetes caused that. Well, no, diabetes didn't cause it, but because we have diabetes, that cut, that scratch takes longer to heal. And so it may end up developing an infection, and we call it a diabetic foot or a diabetic ulcer, not because the diabetes caused it, but diabetes set the stage that when you had another thing happen, it makes it harder for the body to heal. And that is the insidiousness of diabetes. That's the insidiousness of dysfunctional metabolism, because we see normal and we think normal means that everything is okay. Normal doesn't mean everything is okay. Normal can sometimes be abnormal. For example, there are diseases that I treat that I don't actually want things to be normal. You know, when we're treating patients who have thyroid cancer, you know, the TSH, which is one of those things that we look at, the TSH, it could be in the normal range, but I don't want it in the normal range because this patient has a history of thyroid cancer. I actually want it in the abnormal range. And that sometimes is a little difficult for people people to understand. So normal does not always mean okay. And one of the things that we've been talking about this week is this idea that we are growing, we're developing, we are enhancing, we are improving ourselves. And how do we now install this new self into what we currently have? Because the body is the body. The body is what we've got. This is what we're working with. And so how do we install these new ideas? How do we install these new tools? How do we install these new directions and these new focuses into this system? And that is what our community and our process is talking about. We've been talking about the health action plan. We talked about the HEAT model, the COPE model, all those tools that we have at our disposal to help us in this process. And so we've packaged all of that into what we call the accelerator. And the accelerator is really a container that takes all the things that we've learned so far, all the things that we've been developing, all the tools that we have, all the conversations that we've had, and helps you now to walk through those in an intentional way, and gives you some direction that you get to interact with me in the community and say, okay, how do I now make this a permanent thing in my life, right? That is what we want to do, because we're not just doing this for today or tomorrow or the next week. We're not just even doing this for next year. We are doing this because it is the new us. It is the new version of us. And limitless living right over here, right? So we concentrate on the limitless living, and that is amazing. But down here, right, it says powered by the new you. It's powered by the new you. All the things that happen in this part come from here. And the new us, that new installation, the new version of us, the new operating system, the new mechanisms, the new thought processes, the new ideas, the new tools that we have, all that comes when we take action. And that's the new us that we have. And so my encouragement to you as we're walking through this space is you're learning the tools, you're hearing the things, some of you are dabbling. You're like, well, I'm not quite sure yet about fasting. I'm not quite sure yet about exercising. I'm not quite sure yet about the balanced bites. But this is the space for you to try those things, right? So all of the things that you see on the channel, when we do our 100-day walk to consistency and health, when we do our strength, strategy, and mindset, all of that is with the intention of providing space and providing a direction for you as you are working on improving yourself. And ultimately, when we improve ourselves, then we get into that limitless living lifestyle. So fasting is one of the pillars of our health action plan. And on a weekly basis, we fast. So for those of you who are interested in fasting, you're like, well, what are we doing? What's the goal? So the goal of fasting is to reduce our insulin, decrease our insulin, suppress our appetite, and reduce sugar in the body. Those are the three pillars. Those are the pillars of reversing diabetes. And our show from last night, when we did our check-in, talked about the insulin burden. That is a great one for you to go back and watch from last night. And then, of course, ultimately, our flagship show for this week, which talked about the accelerator and how we set ourselves up for success. So this week, we're talking about the accelerator. This week, we're talking about the insulin burden in our shows, and you'll hear that theory or that theme tonight. You'll hear that tomorrow again as we walk through the space. But it is with the intention for everybody to understand that your blood sugar that you see, the result of your blood sugar, that is just a symptom. When that blood sugar is high, it's a symptom. It is not the problem. It is the result of the underlying issue, and the underlying issue is the insulin burden that we have. And even for those of you who are seeing good blood sugars, like I had someone say to me, hey, my A1C is great. My A1C is perfect. My blood sugars are amazing, but my weight keeps climbing up. And the question is, why does that happen? Why does that happen? And that happens because in order for your body to keep your blood sugar normal, in order for the body to keep the blood sugar normal, then the body has to produce insulin. And it's the hyperinsulinemia, the elevated insulin, that ultimately causes the problem for us. Okay? All right. So I see Cornelia, she says, that's awesome. Tell them thank you. Yes. So, and once again, kudos, hats off to you, Cornelia, for all the metabolic benefits that you're getting. If you want to hear more of that, you want to hear Cornelia share that, join the community, come on the show, and she may pop something in our chat tonight as we do that. So we will be doing our show tonight at 9 p.m. Central on Dwain Woode MD Live right here on the channel. And then, of course, tomorrow we will do our complete review of fasting, where we talk about how to fast, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast and what goes on in our bodies. And then, of course, how do we break the fast? And you get to see what I'm going to eat for my first meal after 72 hours. If you go back on the channel in that this week's videos, you'll see, I think it's the second or third video that's there when we did a pop-up live. You get to see what I ate as my last meal for my eating window as I got into the fast. And then, of course, tomorrow you'll get to see what I ate, what I'm going to eat as my first meal out of the fast. On Saturday night, we'll have a video from the vault. And then on Sunday, we'll have, that will be 9 p.m. Central. And then on Sunday, we have This Week in Review, which starts at 6 a.m. Central. And then next week, we'll be right back, Dwain Woode MD Live, as we continue walking down the metabolic pathway. And when you're hearing us talk and when you're seeing what we're doing, this is with the intention that this is an all immersive system. What does that mean? That means that what we are doing and who we are becoming is not just something that we're doing on a temporary basis. Okay? Now, I love, and actually we did a couple of years ago, we did a challenge, and it was called Sugar Busters, right? It was 15 days. And it was with the intention of walking people through the effects of sugar, what sugar does, how to break the habit, and all of that, right? And that actually is still on the website. So Sugar Busters. And I loved it because it is a way to jumpstart what we do. And all of the challenges that you are in, the challenges that you go through, I love them. I say, and you've heard me say this before, that motivation is an amazing way to ignite the process, get us started. But motivation does not last. It is structure that takes us into the space where we need to be. So that when we're fasting, when we are coming through this space, the reason I talk about fasting in the way that I do, the reason I'm sitting here in this space, the reason I encourage you to join me day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, total. The reason we have these check-ins is because we want fasting to become, we want it to become just second nature. We want it to become second nature. So it's not a special thing that we're doing. No. We don't want special. We want regular, ordinary, run-of-the-mill that happens to us all the time. So I don't want my fasting to be a special event. Because special events can give me great motivation, but they don't last. So I want my fasting to be something that is an ongoing, persistent, consistent, structural process that takes me down the road and takes me over the long haul. Today someone was asking me about fasting, and so we are challenging you. And when I say challenging, we are putting before you the process, and the process is we're working our way to be able to fast for a 24-hour period at least once a week. At least a 24-hour period, at least once a week. Okay? And let me change that to say stop from saying at least once a week. We're challenging you to be fasting for a 24-hour period once a week. Now, there are lots of different ways to fast. So some people may do a 24-hour period several times a week. That's perfectly fine. I do a 24-hour period, and think about it, right? Back to back 3 times, so 3 days. So I do a 72-hour period. So, but our goal for you is at least 24-hour period once a week, and that gets you into the beginning, gets you into the process of, okay, how do I make decisions? How do I make changes that are beneficial for me? Now, here's the thing. The things that we talk about in the Health Action Plan, all of them give immediate results. When you start fasting, your blood sugars start going down immediately. Now, they may not, now if their blood sugars are 500, 600, they're not going to go down to 100, but they start dropping immediately. When you start walking, immediately you have hormonal changes. When you start strength training, immediately those muscles begin to respond. When you start eating balanced bites, right? That's the way we fuel our bodies. Immediately you start to get the benefits because the things that you're now eating are sending different signals to your body. When you start doing your rest and restoration, immediately your hormones change. Immediately you begin seeing those benefits. When we do structure and planning, when you're sitting down and you're saying, hey, what am I going to do? How is my week going to go? Immediately you begin to see the benefits of being in a structural place. Notice what I'm saying? I'm not talking about down the road. I'm talking about immediately you begin seeing benefits. Now, ultimately, if you are trying to lose 50 pounds, we are not looking for you to immediately lose 50 pounds. Like not wake up tomorrow and 50 pounds are gone. Now, that would be great, by the way. So if you're out there and you figure that out, come on, let me know. But what we're looking for is we're looking for the consistent, we're looking for that thing that is ingrained in us, the thing that says that I am now this person that's walking down this path. And that's the beauty of the process that we're on, that we're not looking for something that's going to just tomorrow morning give us this. We're saying, if I'm consistent, right, limitless living, I'm not allowing anything. I'm not allowing time. I'm not allowing scheduling. I'm not allowing weather. I'm not allowing travel to make a change. I am taking charge. I am the one that's in charge. I am the one that's driving this. I am the one that's being intentional. Love that. Hey, Pam. Pam says hello. You were here with us. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Yeah. The crew is here. The crew is here. So all of that is with the intention of, all that we do is with the intention of getting us in the metabolic space where we're improving our health. That's the goal. And as we are walking through the process, as we are walking down this pathway, the question is, how do we now install within us the new operating system? And how do we make this last, not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but how do we make this last down the road? Now, I used to work at a lab in Illinois. And so we did that several summers while I was in college. And they were a research lab. It's actually a physics research lab. And basically what they did, they were an accelerator. And so we would take, they would have this beam and they would crash it into some lead and all these particles would come off, quarks. And this is the first time I learned about some of these particles, pions and quarks and so forth. And it was an amazing process to be involved with that. And the team that I was on, our job, because my background is in computer science, and our job was when these particles were flying off of the beam, right? Because it was crashing into lead, and because of the impact, we get all these particles that were flying off. And so our job was to we have these detectors, and we would capture those particles, and our job was to categorize them, sort them, put them in different databases and so forth. And I always think back to that idea when I think about accelerator, right? What is an accelerator? An accelerator is something that allows you to go from the speed you're at right now into in a faster speed. It is this idea of motion, momentum, speed, acceleration. So if I'm going to go somewhere, yeah, I can go and I can plod along and I can move at a particular pace, or I can accelerate the process. And so in the case of this research lab, right, they had this thing that was moving, and as it moved around, and it was not a linear one, it was a circular one, it would go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, right? So what we're doing is we're accelerating that particle to the point that when it crashes into that piece of lead, that the things that come off of it, right, are the things that we're interested in. And so an accelerator gives us the ability to supercharge what we're doing. gives us the ability to identify around us all of the supercharged particles, all those ideas that are coming off. And we've been talking in our community, if you've been in there, and I see some of our community members, and one of the things that's been amazing for us is the connections that we're making. And you, Cornelia, if you're there, you heard me say one time, it feels like this idea crashes into this other idea, and from that idea we get another idea that comes out, and each of those ideas crashes into something else, and the growth that you get from the process is amazing. And so how do we go about installing this version of ourselves? That's what the accelerator is designed for. So to supercharge what we've been doing, supercharge what you're doing, supercharge what you're learning, so that we instill that in us, so that everything that we're seeing, all the connections, all the thought process, I'm telling you, there are things that I have known as a physician, things that I've known, going through schooling, that are now beginning to make more sense, that we're beginning to see. And in our medical industry, right, and in our medical society, we are now making connections, things that we've seen before, but we didn't understand. And so science and thought has come to the place now where we're saying, that's how that works. Or, that's why that does that. Or, oh my goodness, if we had done this before. And so when you hear me talking, when you hear and you see the tools that we're learning, the tools are designed to help us move in the direction of saying, okay, we're no longer going to be satisfied with the status quo. What we're looking for now is we're looking to move to another level. And you hear me say it, right? This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here we educate, we empower, we encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level, and create the life you've always wanted. Right? That's that idea. That we're here and we are getting better. We're growing. Now, here, let me hasten to say this, and I made this point when we were going through our 100-day walk to consistency in health. You are adequate, just like you are. I'm pausing there. You are sufficient, just like you are right now. And don't let anybody convince you that that's different. You are sufficient, you are adequate, just like you are. That's why when we talk about limitless living, right over here, right? What do I say? I said, we're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. Nothing from outside or nothing from inside. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plan. You know what those three are? That's you as you are. I'm showing up with the best I got. The best I have is what I have right now. And so right now, I am adequate. So we're not trying to make that person inadequate. What we're saying is, how do we go to the next level? How do we amp it up? How do we level it up? How do we instill an updated version of the things that we learn? An updated version of myself. If right now I could go back and talk to the younger Dwain, there's some stuff I'd be like, dude, no. Let's not do that right now. Let's do something else. Don't make that decision. Don't do that. And so the updated version of ourselves, you can imagine this like your future self coming back to you and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. How do we install the updated version of me into me right now? And as we go through this space, that's what we do, right? We live a limitless life. And we are saying every single day that the structure that we've put into place, that's what we're running on. It's the new version. It's not the old operating system. We have new, efficient, better ways of doing the things that we do. And here in this space, that's what this is all about. How do we make our metabolism better, and how do we stick to it? I see Bowie out there. Hey, 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 how are you? Thank you for coming through. Bowie says, hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us. So if you fasted with us on day one, congratulations. You ended your 24-hour. If you fasted yesterday into today, this is day number 2, and you are done. If you are fasting starting today and going into tomorrow, kudos to you. Come on, let's do it together. If you are doing the complete fast or longer fast, like one of our community members did last week, congratulations to you as well. And just go ahead and drop a yes in the comments. Whether you're doing the first day, you did it already, you did it yesterday into today, you're starting today, going into tomorrow, you're doing an entire thing, or you're doing some of the other types of fast, an intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, a 5 and 2 fast, time restricted eating, whatever you're doing. If you're fasting, go ahead and drop yes into the comments, because we are all working on this process together. We're moving in that direction. Now, we'll be back tonight as we do our check-in at 9 p.m. Central on the channel. Make sure you join us. Tomorrow, we will do our complete review of fasting, where we talk about how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast, and what goes on in our bodies, and how to end the fast. And you get to see what I'm going to eat for the first time in 72 hours. If you have some suggestions, go ahead and pop that in. On the way home tonight, we're going to be working on, we're going to be stopping off and getting some things. I am going to be cooking tomorrow. I'm not going to cook tonight, because if I cook tonight, then yeah, I can't cook without tasting. We're not going to do that tonight. We're going to do tomorrow, and we may end up cooking something for the fast, but I'm not sure. Right? As you know, though, there are going to be some standard things that are in it, because I've got my default meal that I do. But the question is, what am I going to add to it? Right? That's what you want to come by and you want to come see with us. And I see Pamela says yes. So she is fasting with us. Thank you, Pam, for hanging out. Let's see. I know we've got some other community members out there that are fasting. So thank you for coming through. Hey, 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 this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health in your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives that's powered by the new us. So go live a limitless life, and we will see you tonight on our show. We'll see you tomorrow as we do our check-in and our complete review, and we'll see you in the community. Remember, hit join down there somewhere. There's a button that says join, and then keep an eye out for all of you. And I've been talking about this accelerator. It's coming to the channel. It's coming to the website. So make sure you get over there, Dwain Woode MD. Bookmark that. We will let you know when that link is showing up. Okay? Thank you for being here. We'll see you. Bye-bye, everybody.